So you're finally ready to book that trip, that dream vacation that you've been wanting to go on for such a long time. You got the PTO, you worked hard, now you just got to find the right flight. Hi, I'm Trevor from Quest with Trev and Lex, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to find a good, cheap flight for you to take that vacation you've been wanting to take for a long time. And so that can be broken down into multiple steps, and we'll go through those throughout this video. So one thing that I find very important to find these cheap flights, because I've been asked multiple times, I've gone to Europe, I've gone to all these cool locations, and I tell people the prices that I'm finding, and they're like, there's no way. I'm never going to find anything like that. Truth is, you can too. If I can find it, you can find it. So one of those ways is finding the right sites. So there's a few that I'll use throughout the process of trying to find these cheap flights. One of them is Skyscanner, one of them is Hopper, and the other one is just Google Flights. And so after you've gotten yourself into each of these websites and you've looked up the time and all that type of stuff, you can find really, really cheap flights. That kind of leads into that other point of making sure you're finding the right dates. Like, you have to know when you want to go. And to make it the cheapest, it's usually avoidance of the high seasons. So like, let's say it's over in Europe. High season is going to be summer. So anywhere between like May and August, I would say you're going to be spending a lot higher prices than you are if you go through any of the like off seasons part. So anything with like February, March, April, or September, October, November. So that is another really key piece for that. And then when you're doing your searches and going into Skyscanner, Hopper, Google Flights, look at those dates. So they say, hey, you know what? I know I want to save money. I'm going to go look at these dates to find the best price for myself. So you've been looking at the websites. You kind of have a good idea of the timing. Another big part of this is the location. To kind of give you, I guess, an example in that aspect would be if you're wanting to go to somewhere like Paris, you might spend a little bit more. But if you're wanting to go somewhere like Dublin, typically a lot cheaper. Another aspect to location is knowing where you want to fly out of. There's times, honestly, for myself, I live in Iowa, as you can see, and there's times where I'm like, you know what, flying out of Des Moines or Cedar Rapids is a lot more expensive. Whereas if I just take the drive over to Minneapolis, which is pretty short, or drive over to Chicago, which is also pretty short, then I can find a pretty sick deal and not have to worry about it as much. Another aspect to finding cheap flights for you is just a lot of persistence, to be quite honest with you. So if you know that date, you know where you're wanting to go, let's say you're set in on Barcelona or something like that. Have a set time where every day you just kind of take a peek, see what the prices are looking at for your flight from, gosh, for me, let's say Chicago to Barcelona. And be willing to keep looking at those things, and eventually they should yield a pretty good price. Now, I would say typically when I'm looking a few months out. Like this most recent vacation that I booked, it's for April, and I just booked it a few weeks ago. So about 8-9 months out, and I'm finding these really cool prices. I was able to find this cheap flight because I took the time to look through every aspect. I knew where I wanted to possibly go, and I knew the timing in which I wanted to go. So after that, I just had to keep searching. So when I found finally a price that was really, really good, but I'm like, you know what, let me hang on a little bit, and eventually that price even dropped further. And so it's just looking every day, honestly. Take 5 minutes, just take a look. Hey, what's the prices looking at right now? And some of those apps that I mentioned earlier will let you know what they think about that price for that flight. And then also they can notify you when that price might get cheaper, which is a really cool aspect to each of those websites. Then finally, you find a flight that you really, really like. I would say try to get on it as fast as you can. There's certain airlines, like let's say again you're flying to Europe, that might be a little bit more budget friendly, that typically I feel like people don't necessarily think about all the time. One of those would be Iceland Air. Another one would be like Finnair, Air Portugal, TAP Portugal. All those can typically find really like budget prices to make flying over there a lot easier for you. One of the things you might have to sacrifice sometimes is maybe a longer layover, which in that case, like let's say like this upcoming flight I'll have a 24-hour layover at some point. Well, that gives me plenty of time to get out to whatever city that I'll be in and explore that area a little bit, which is really, really cool at the same time. Sorry if you hear my cat in the background. He wants to come in the room. So finally you found the location, you found the price you really, really like, and you're ready to book. Now, ultimately, the price that you really like is up to you, but I can say that typically people think they have to spend $1,200, $1,500 just to get over there. You can find prices sometimes for $500 round trip per person, and so just be persistent and know when you find that price you really like, take it and go, because ultimately you're not going to regret it in the long run because you're going on vacation. There's nothing that beats that. I hope you found this video helpful for you. If you have any other questions or any other tips for fellow travelers like this, and feel free to drop them in the comments. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'll be hopefully posting a few more videos over time. I definitely will be posting more videos over time. And I'll be going on a really cool vacation here really soon where I can hopefully give you guys an update on what's going on there as well. So take it easy and have a good rest of your day.